When did you realize your parents had a favorite child? I was 7 when my sister's tick slammed my head into the wall hard enough to leave a dent in the drywall. My mom didn't ask if I was okay. She told me to go to my room because Rachel was having a hard day. That was the first time. It wasn't the last. See, Rachel has Tourette's, the kind that makes her elbow people stomp and yell ha 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 loud enough to stop conversations 3 rooms away. Rachel lashed out, I took it, and mom pretended not to see. Dad never said anything, just let mom run the show. That became the pattern of my entire childhood. It followed me through high school, college, and into my 20s. I thought that's just what family meant. Then, last winter, I got a taste of a different kind of love. It was New Year's Eve when my boyfriend got down on one knee and said, "You deserve to be someone's first priority." I sobbed so hard I could barely say yes. For once, I wasn't the family shock absorber. I was just Lisa, planning her perfect day. Then my mom called. "Yeah, I've been saving for this since you were little. Let me pay for everything." Her voice dripped honey, but I should have heard the poison underneath. We talked flowers and venues for 20 minutes before she dropped it. Of course, Rachel will be your maid of honor, standing right behind you during the ceremony. I'm paying, so I get to choose at least one bridesmaid. That's the rule. In that instant, every memory I tried to bury came barreling back. See, with Rachel, you had to know the right distance. 3 feet was safe from the elbow, 5 feet protected you from the stomping. 0 feet meant blood. When I was 12, Rachel threw a dinner plate at my face during Christmas, 7 stitches above my eyebrow, but I had to clean up the blood while mom comforted her. By 16, I'd learned to back up everything twice, because her stomping tick had destroyed too many of my things. Mom bought Rachel weighted blankets and therapy lamps and told me to be understanding. At 22, I watched Rachel elbow a pregnant woman at our cousin's wedding. The woman doubled over, crying, but mom told everyone she was being dramatic. That's when I realized mom wasn't just enabling her. She was protecting the chaos because it kept her in control. So I told her no. Rachel could come to the reception, the rehearsal dinner, everything except the ceremony. I even offered the church nursery so she could watch on a TV screen. Then I'm not paying for anything, mom snapped. Fine, I said. My fiance and I will cover it. The next 3 weeks were hell. Mom called relatives saying I was ableist and cruel. She showed up at my apartment with Rachel to practice being calm. 10 minutes later, Rachel's elbow shattered my living room mirror. Shards of glass everywhere. "This is what happens when you stress her out," mom shouted. "She's picking up on your rejection." The night before the wedding, dad called. "Your mother's planning to come anyway. She says you can't stop a mother from seeing her daughter's wedding." I knew she meant it. For 28 years, she'd made sure I knew my place, Rachel's punching bag, both literally and emotionally, but I wasn't 7 anymore. The morning of my wedding, my hands trembled as I applied lipstick. It hit me that this day would either be everything I dreamed of or the final break with my family. So when mom and Rachel arrived early, I took a deep breath and smiled like nothing had ever been wrong. "I'm so glad you made it," I said, hugging them both. "You have to see how beautiful everything turned out." I showed them around the lobby, pointing out the flowers and the way the sunlight hit the stained glass. "The bridal suite's over here," I said, keeping my tone light. "You can see the aisle from this angle. It's perfect, right?" Then I led them toward the nursery. "And remember the room I mentioned? The one with the perfect view of the ceremony? You'll love this." The room was just as I'd planned. Soft lighting, padded carpet, a big screen showing the ceremony room. I smiled as they stepped inside. "It's soundproof," I said. "Parents can bring their babies here and still hear everything from the main hall." Mom walked in first, Rachel close behind, still talking about the decorations. "I'll go to the ceremony room and say something so you can test how well the sound carries," I said, keeping my tone light. They both nodded, turning toward the screen. I slipped out, pulled the door closed, and turned the lock. For a second, I just stood there, palm flat against the cool metal, my heart pounding so hard it hurt. 28 years of being the good daughter ended with one small click. The pounding started immediately. Mom's muffled yelling, Rachel's ha 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 echoing through the padded walls. But those walls were built to muffle crying babies, and they worked. I walked back to the bridal suite. The makeup artist glanced up, startled at my calm face. For the first time in my life, silence didn't mean waiting for the next outburst. It meant peace. When I stepped into my dress, it felt like armor. An hour later, I stood at the altar watching my husband's face as he read his vows. His voice never wavered. Every word exactly as he'd written them, exactly as I'd dreamed. The ceremony was perfect, silent, safe. After the reception, I played dumb. "Oh my god, that door's been sticking. I told the venue about it last week. Thank goodness you could watch on the screen." Mom's face turned red. She didn't speak, just glared like I'd committed murder after I forced her to watch my husband's parents walk me down the aisle. Before mom left the church that day, she cornered me. Her face twisted with rage. "You're dead to me," she hissed. I smiled. "Yeah, I learned from the best." Point.